It's now time to work the face ribbing for our balaclava. So here I have the opening of my hood and I have my stitches that are waiting to be picked up. So I'm going to take my rib needles with the right side facing out. I'm just going to start picking up my stitches from my waste yarn, moving from right to left. So I like to just kind of slide them on. I'm just picking them up without twisting them from right to left. If they're hard to pick up, I would pull on the waste yarn to kind of pull them back up. But here we go, I've picked up all my stitches. So now I can cut my waste yarn and pull it out. So now I'm going to continue in a clockwise direction and pick up one stitch for every garter ridge around. I'm just going to wrap the new yarn around my finger to tension it. I'm going to wrap it around a finger on my right hand because I'm a continental knitter. So this gives me tension with my left hand. If you're an English knitter, you could tension around your finger on your left hand so you have tension with your right hand. I'm going to pick up a stitch underneath every garter ridge. Now you can pick up a full stitch along the edge or just a half, but I pick up a full stitch. So if we look here, there's a full stitch on the edge, which creates a V. Do you see the V right here? Separate that V, both legs of it, on the edge, and I'm going to stick my needle from front to back so that it's separated on the right side. And then I'm going to yarn over from front to back and pull that through. And then I move up a garter ridge. So that is our one stitch for that garter ridge. So I move up one, I pass over this garter ridge and go below the next one. And I find a couple V's below it. You can see them right here, and I have my edge stitch here, my edge V right here. Now I'm going to go just to the left of it and stick my needle from front to back, yarn over from front to back, and pull a loop through. And I just repeat that. I go up one garter ridge, I go up below the next garter ridge, and I find my edge stitch, go from front to back, yarn over from front to back, and pull a loop through. And I just keep doing that. I go up one garter ridge, find the stitch below it, and pick up. After a few, you can release your tension yarn, and you're just going to do this all the way around. So on each side of the 3 needle bind off, you should pick up approximately 31 or 33 stitches. If you're off by a couple, don't sweat it. As long as your total picked up stitches, including your original rib stitches, is an even number, you're good. And you can always decrease one if it's not. I currently have 32, so I need to pick up one more stitch. So just before my 3 needle bind off, I pick up one more stitch. And now I go to the other side of my 3 needle bind off and start the same thing. So I separate the edge V, go from front to back, yarn over, pull through, go down to the next garter ridge. Just before it, separate the edge stitch and just continue on, one stitch for every garter ridge. And at the very end, you'll have picked up a stitch before your final garter ridge. You need to pick up a stitch right after that garter ridge. You'll want to double check, but for me that worked out perfectly. So now that we've reached our ribbing, it should look something like this. You can start to work your ribbing across. Work in your knit one, purl one rib until you get to your first picked up stitch. If you want a little bit of a tighter closure here, you can undo your last purl stitch and swap these 2 stitches. So just kind of pick up one, place it over the other. And then I would purl my actual first picked up stitch and knit my last stitch. You would be doing this in the same color so it wouldn't be noticeable, but that way once you weave in your ends it'll be a little bit tighter. That's an optional thing. After you knit your first picked up stitch, you want to place a marker. So I passed that already, but I would place a marker there, and now we're joined. And so now you just knit in the round. At the time of joining, you should have 88 or 96 stitches. If you're off by a stitch or two, that's totally okay. You just want to have an even total number once you begin, so you can decrease one or increase one, whichever you prefer. When you're knitting your first round, if you find that the 2 stitches, one on each side of your 3 needle bind off, are a little bit too far away and you don't like the gap that you're getting, you can swap them. So here I have the 2 stitches, one on either side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the second and kind of pull it over the first. You can work the first stitch as it needs to be worked. For me, it's a knit, and then work the second one as a purl. And then just keep going. And you essentially just worked like a cable where you just twisted those 2 stitches, and that will create a tighter join. So if you're worried about a hole at the very top, that's how you can prevent that. And then you just keep going in pattern across. I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next video.